You're watching Less Than Epic's coverage of the Overwatch League. Enjoy the show. Last week, Boston Uprising lost their largest hero pool DPS and their shot caller in DreamKazper. A lot within the community have worried if Boston can contend without him. This week on Less Than Epic, we're taking a look at the DreamKazper-less Boston Uprising to see if they're still going to be contenders in the Overwatch League.
Widow hasn't had a lot of support.
Here we go. Oh,
That's a great stick.
Wow, onto Art. Striker, what a throw to start this attack with. And they get Janice as well. No finishes off Savior B. And that was definitive for Boston Uprising coming in here. Meko just trying to buy as much time as he can for his team to reset.
What's up, people of the internet? This is your host, Radical Edward, and before we dive straight into this, we need to do a bit of housekeeping. This analysis series, which has previously been called Match Analysis, is now being renamed to League Analysis. In this series, we will analyze an interesting aspect of the league every week. And with that, let's kick off our analysis of the DreamKazper-less Boston Uprising. If you still don't know why DreamKazper was cut from Boston, we did a two-part coverage story on this channel, links in the description if you're interested. Boston has now played 2 games with a DPS player named Mistakes stepping in for DreamKazper, one against the top-seeded New York Excelsior and one against one of the lowest-seeded teams, Florida Mayhem. The wide range and skill differences give us a great look into the new Uprising. But forgetting about Florida for a second, how the hell did Boston, without their star shot-calling DPS, take down the plus 54 map differential New York Excelsior? Boston has always been known for their stellar dive, but as both Novapunk X and myself noted this week, Boston's dive looked much different than how it looked with DreamKazper. It was much more slower and methodical, likely due to their different style of shot calling. On how Boston is doing shot calling without DreamKazper, Mistakes had this to say in his post-game interview.
Boston Uprising can do that. One last question for you. We know that you have let go of one of the main shot callers. How is this responsibility of shot calling now split amongst the teammates?
I think like every person now stepped up, like everyone calls more, and I try to take responsibility as well because before I did not really was a shot caller, but now I try to learn it. I think I'm getting better, but it takes time.
Right, well, we can't wait to see what you...
So it looks like everyone on Boston is now shot calling. Shot calling and communication in general is always going to be different from team to team, but there is no doubt that the quality of Boston's communication and their slower, more methodical dive comp were factors in them defeating New York. Taking a look at the new DPS duo for a moment, my expectations for Mistakes coming into this week were actually fairly low. Statistically, Mistakes is not really as good of a DPS as DreamKazper is. DreamKazper has a larger hero pool, the ability to shot call, and just more consistently ranks higher in more heroes compared to Mistakes. It's not that Mistakes ranks low at all, he's just less effective overall from a strict statistical standpoint, especially if you compare first kill versus first death differentials. One wildcard that Mistakes does bring to the table over DreamKazper is one of the best Sombras in the league. Winston's Labs currently has Mistakes Sombra at rank number 1, and that Sombra was particularly effective in Game 5 versus New York. Comparing Mistakes to Striker, who I must note played out of his mind this week, Mistakes did keep up with him statistically in the maps that Boston won against New York Excelsior, scoring nearly identical EDRs and final blows. These stats are even more impressive if you consider that this stage in particular, Striker has seriously upped his game and is currently in contention for being the best tracer in the league, a title Sabiobi of the New York Excelsior has been holding for nearly the entire season. However, if you compare the first kill versus first death differentials of Mistakes and Striker, Striker is still coming out on top. So statistically, Mistakes may not be what DreamKazper was, but he's doing well enough to gel with his team, and that's what's most important. Now, let's take a look at some of the issues that Boston was having. First and foremost, Boston no longer has a Pharah player. On certain maps, Pharah is a near must pick at the Overwatch League level of play. One of those maps is Numbani, which was the map 2 of the Boston vs. New York series. Boston lost this map, and one of the factors in that loss was not being able to run that DreamKazper level of Pharah. DreamKazper, if you don't know, was likely one of the best Pharahs in the league, up there with Shadowburn of the Philadelphia Fusion and Libero of New York. Losing that Pharah asset is going to be a huge issue for Boston in the coming weeks. The next largest issue I saw Boston having was not protecting their backline enough. Supports are going to die a lot, but comparing the death stats of New York and Boston in this matchup, we see Jonak and Arc dying a combined 56 times, while Kellex and Neko died a combined 58 times. Boston's match versus Florida tells a similar story, with Zupe and Zebosai of Florida dying a combined 52 times, while Kellex and Neko of Boston died a combined 59 times. It's a real testament to Boston that they were able to pull out a win in both of the games this week that they played, but if they want to continue to step up their game, they need to protect their healers. So we've now looked at 3 stronger and 2 weaker aspects of the new DreamKazper-less Boston Uprising, but just to recap, Boston's dive is much improved, sporting a slower and more methodical style. Their communication is now spread amongst their entire team, which has resulted in them taking down the top-seeded New York Excelsior. Their DPS duo is still good and are working together better, it seems, than when Boston was running DreamKazper. On the weaker side, Boston no longer has a Pharah player, and they aren't protecting their healers enough. It may still be too early to tell, but I think the results speak for themselves. The DreamKazper-less Boston Uprising is going to be a heavier contender than they were before. It's a bit counterintuitive given how statistically powerful DreamKazper was, but the stats alone do not win games. Communication and teamwork are just as important as your individual skill, and Boston seem to have figured something out in this realm. Over here at Less Than Epic, we are definitely looking forward to the rest of the season for the Boston Uprising. Anyway, if you made it this far in the video, I'd like to thank you for watching. We do 3 weekly series covering the Overwatch League here at Less Than Epic, including power rankings, game predictions, and league analysis videos like the one you just watched. If you like that kinds of content, be sure to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button, as it really helps out the channel and lets us know that you like the content. Thanks for watching, everyone, and once again, this is Radical Edward for Less Than Epic, signing out.